Hey everyone, Christian here, and today I want to do a vlog on a palm I don't believe I've done before, but it's quite common in Florida, and that is Phoenix roebellini, or the pygmy date palm. So this palm is native to the upper Mekong Delta, the upper Mekong River area. So we're talking about Laos, Cambodia, Western Vietnam, and northeastern Thailand. And this has become quite a staple in the Florida landscape world, as well as in California and Texas, and I'm sure it's in Australia and other warm Mediterranean climates. So it is quite a versatile palm. It does get it kind of has that dwarf look about it, hence the name Pygmy. It's the smallest in the Phoenix complex, or one of the smallest. There's a couple smaller ones, but as far as like ones that form a trunk, for the most part, it is the smallest there. So it kind of resembles a miniature version of a much larger date. But one thing it does that most other Phoenix don't do is curves quite a bit. Reclinata does that, but the larger Phoenix don't really have any curves to them naturally. So they will curve around looking for the sun. These here are probably about 15 years old. They're not the fastest growers, and but they are they are fairly easy to grow. They usually are planted in they can be planted in singles, but they're usually planted in doubles, triples, quadruples, 18 together in one little bush. But they naturally do not clump. There is a species called Phoenix paludosa, which means of the swamp, that grows in the lower Mekong Delta area that does naturally clump, and it looks very similar, and it was thought that this was actually a solitary version of that palm, but they are two separate species. So you can see here there's actually some seed on there. The seed is going to be like a burgundy color and like kind of a tiny version of in fact they're actually ripe right now on that one. But yeah, it's a burgundy color. It looks like a little miniature date, and they're pretty easy to germinate. Throw them in kind of like a hot, swampy condition that they kind of are used to in Southeast Asia. You can see they keep this these stubs from their the base of their petioles too, and it's kind of has a nice little ornate look about it. So, but these are very popular landscape palms. They are relatively easy to grow. They do suffer from some manganese deficiencies, so they'll have like a frizzle top to them, and you can correct that through using micronutrients and other fertilizers that carry manganese in it. But they do require some fertilization. These and Christmas Adenidia Morillii both kind of provide the same sort of hedging slash just small area plantings for palms. Not many other palms can really rival the versatility and the ability for these to grow in small areas. Like you can't plant a Bismarck in an area where you're planting even 3 to 5 pygmy dates. So if you look down out of here, it almost looks like it's sharing a root system, but those are actually 3 separate plants. They're usually planted 7 or 8 to a pot, and they will cut out the runs of the litter and let the biggest ones kind of grow up. But this is a pretty healthy specimen. They're never going to grow at the same rate. You can see this one here is a little runtier than the larger, taller ones. And but this is actually this one's been pruned well. It's been well taken care of, and it's hence a good specimen to film for a little palm review. So these, as far as cold hardiness, these are probably going to be a 9B. Maybe you can get them in 9A in a protected area. Do all right. I have seen these in the Houston area. They definitely grow in New Orleans, and they grow all around Central Florida. So I've seen them toast at 27, 28 degrees, but I think it was because the person threw on their irrigation and it froze the leaflets. They will come back from a complete defoliation usually without a problem though. So they're pretty tough as far as like being trunk hardy, but they're not as cold hardy as say the bigger dates like Phoenix canariensis, Phoenix dactylifera, Phoenix sylvestris. Those are quite hardy, and this is one of the least cold hardy in the genus, even though it is still relatively cold hardy compared to a lot of other more tropical plants. So that probably is due to the fact that it doesn't grow in a purely tropical area. A lot of that upper Mekong area can get quite mountainous and chilly during the during the wintertime. So, but it is a beautiful, beautiful palm. It is very common, so it's been seen as kind of a palm that doesn't really, it doesn't inspire a lot of people, but yet it still gives. Sorry about that little break there. I decided to let a gentleman pass on the sidewalk. Anyway, I didn't want to go back and re-edit, but it is relatively easy. In fact, I don't even take the fruit off of these seeds. When I germinate them, they kind of rot on their own in a hot medium of just, it doesn't have to be the best draining soil. They tend to grow in poorly draining soils. They seem to do pretty well there. You can put them in a fast draining media, but they're one of those palms that can handle swampy conditions. They tend to take it when they grow near rivers, that sort of thing. So they tend to actually like, and they're actually very good at transplanting. I can remember one of the roughest transplants I've ever done was at my neighbor's, and he wanted to dig up some pygmy dates and put in some foxtails because he wanted bigger palms for the area. And we dug them up, and there weren't that many roots left on them because he roughed them pretty bad. And the palm laid on its side for about a week, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and plant these on the side of my house as sort of a hedge. And he planted them in, and it was like they didn't even notice what had happened. So, these are quite tough palms. They are relatively cold hardy and are pretty easy to get a hold of. You can get ones with a little few feet of trunk for maybe $100 and a little 3 from wholesalers. They're a little bit more. They're more like towards $250 with a few feet of trunk from retailers. But the prices are kind of everywhere. You can usually find what you're looking for, though. And you can actually find these at home at some of the big box stores, whether it be in the U.S., Canada, or Australia, other European countries, from what I'm told. So. Anyway, you can see it kind of holds a little bit of a fiber right below its crown, and those are usually chipped off either manually or they kind of fall off naturally if I've left there long enough. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it for the pygmy date. Hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. Look at, before I go, check that out. Looks like a bird kind of cut that out, but this palm doesn't seem to care at all. Obviously the interior of the palm is where all the growth is, so as long as it didn't really destroy that, then it should be okay. But these can look pretty ragged and still in the trunk and still have a perfectly healthy crown. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll see many more palm review videos and other palm growing methods. And if you have any questions about Phoenix or pygmy dates in general, go ahead and leave it down below, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can, and gals. And thanks for watching, everyone.